Ooh, that was exciting. That's weird. I don't quite know. Oops, not like that. Hey guys, welcome back to Chevy Kustom on YouTube. Dave here in the garage with the Area 51. If you're new to the channel, had a few new subscribers lately, so that's cool. Thanks for coming along, welcome aboard. Been doing a lot of work on the Area 51, not so much on the bomb truck, but I did get out and drive it over the last couple of days, so that's good. Last video we got the body back on the chassis, so it's looking a bit cattywampus, as they say in Wampus, or it's crooked at the moment because it's flatty McFlat tyres keeps going down. But this week got to do a little bit of work in the door jambs. There's a couple of little areas that need attention, so let's get at it. Alrighty, so if you're new to the channel, I bought this car and someone had already done the bulk of the work in the floors, put new steel in, and if you go back a few videos you'll see me sort of finishing it up and finish welding it and putting the underbody stuff and that on. But when they cut the floors out, they welded in braces and stuff, which was a good thing to do, and like when you're doing stuff like that, so everything doesn't get all kind of crooked and stuff. But when they pulled the braces out, you can see here they just kind of gave it a cut and then yanked it off, and it's pulled a hole and it's pulled it out of shape and left a bit of weld behind. So I've just got to get in there and clean that up. There's a couple of little bits up the top somewhere. It might be on this side, it might be on the other side, that I've got to take care of. A few little bits of some of this. I just want to smooth that out a little bit more and whatnot. I don't want to take too much out of it. I'll use a bit of filler on some of it. And over the other side is where we have the bulk of what I've got to do today. And it's going to be a little bit tricky because if you have a look here, there's one knee. There's been some previous sort of damage in here at some point with the door stay thing, and it's all bent in, and someone's kind of welded this. And I'll show you in a sec, but you can look on the inside, there's a little tear that's been welded up right there, so, and it's all kind of dented and shit, and it's quite tricky to kind of get in there and try and hammer it out. If you had a bit more room, I could get in there and hammer it out quite easily, I would think, but I can't. So, but if we have a look up under here, you can see that little thing there. That's actually a little curly bit of steel from being torn. And you can see the sort of dents where that's all pushed in, and I can't really get in here very well with a punch or a hammer or anything to kind of try and knock it back. So I'm gonna try and devise a cunning plan to try and fix that. So I'm gonna hit this bit first. There's a few other little bits and bobs up here, like little bits of sort of scabby weld that I have actually managed to not cut my head open on while I've been working on this car, so I want to grind those back, because now that I've spoken about it, I probably will cut my head open. That is, a couple of little old spot welds, I'm going to flush those out a little bit, and a little bit more work on the old sort of chop and stuff, just to smooth out a few bits and pieces. But yeah, start with, let's hit that. I want to get a wire wheel on there and take all that paint off and have a look, see what we can do. Alright, got a pretty blunt looking little wire wheel, so I'll get into it. Alrighty, so giving that a bit of a clean up, you can kind of see it a bit better now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get in there with a zip disc, and I'm going to kind of try and cut that bit of weld out, just to kind of make it let go of that bracket that it's welded onto, and that will hopefully I'll be able to kind of pull it back out a bit more, a bit better, you know what I'm saying? Might even try that pin puller that I got given the other week, see if I can use it. I've never used a pin puller before, so that will be exciting for everyone, won't it? I might give that a try and see if I can pull that little kind of dent out. Bit of an experiment. I don't know about that upper part of the dent though, because that's got a bracket spot welded to the back of it. Pin puller might not have enough stick on there, you know. We'll give it a try. What's the worst can happen? I have to cut it out a little patch and make a new piece for there that's nice and straight. But I'm going to try and straighten it out before I do that anyway. So I'm going to get in there and kind of give it a bit of a cut. Alright, so if you didn't catch the end of one of the last videos, I think it was, I got given this old snap-on pin puller thing. I think he did tell me it was snap-on, but it's got no stickers or anything left on it. So I've never used one of these before. I've only seen like people using them on like YouTube and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try this for the first time and hopefully not electrocute myself. So let's get at it. Dust and crap on the screen there. Yep. So I think I'll take my finger away from the trigger. You just got to put that on there. And go like that. Ooh, that was exciting. Right, I'm going to go find a slide hammer and see if we can start working that out. How does this work? I don't quite know. Oops, not like that. Like this? I don't know. Nope. Hang on, I've got to figure this out. Okay, so I got it jammed in there, yeah, it's not quite how it's supposed to work, but it is starting to pull it up. So I've got to figure out how to drive this slide hammer bit properly, and then we can kind of proceed, I think. But yeah, I know the general principle of a thing, but yeah, no, well and truly got that jammed in there. After all that time I spent, bloody, there we go. Yep. Gotcha. So how does this work? So you have to tighten that onto there like a chuck key on a thing. So what's the point of that bit? It's got springs and stuff in there. So does that need to be looser? Maybe it does. I mean, how do you get them out when you're done? You have to take this whole thing apart every time, or what? Alright, now I've got it stuck in there again. Yeah, I need some pliers. Alrighty, I think I've figured it out. Right, so you have to have this bit kind of wound back when you wound out that way when you get the pins in there. You know, like you've got a pin in there, you've pushed it on, you've spot welded it onto the metal, and then to get it out, you kind of wind it that way, and it pushes the little teeth back to get it in, or to get it out. So let's carry on. Now that I know how things work a bit better. Oh, I don't know whether that took very well, but I'll try another one up the top there actually. Try one up here. That one. Yeah, that one. That was me trying to recycle. So it didn't really work. I'll give one more try. If that doesn't work, I'll put a new one in. Okay, now I've got that pin stuck in there. Get the finger off the trigger so I don't electrocute myself. Is that long enough? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I need to loosen that off. Okay, update. I was having trouble getting this kind of real deep dent out here, and I pulled a hole in it and stuff like that, and I couldn't get these little pins to stick. Like, they just wouldn't get into those little dents. I don't know whether it was, you know, because they'd tried so many times and it built some kind of sort of film on the surface or whatever. But I found a couple of like 2mm pins in here, and so I tried one of those and they kind of grabbed in real good, but they get stuck in the slide hammer, so it takes a little while to kind of do one pin pull with those. But it's starting to kind of come back into line. I've managed to pull up most of the real low spots and pulled them a little bit proud. I kind of pulled them up a bit further than I needed to, just to you know, so I can sort of knock them back or shrink them up or whatever. I don't know if I'm capable of shrinking them up, but apparently you can do shrinking with this thing too. But yeah, I have never tried that before, so we'll try that somewhere important, like on the outside of the car. But yeah, starting to come together. There's a bit of a low spot there. I might try and pull that up a bit, and then I can start like trying to clean it up and hammer it up, and then I'll be able to look at welding. There's a low spot there. Can I get to that from the back? I might. Oh, not a lot of room for kind of hammering that up, but I could try pulling it up, and then I can put a dolly in behind there and hammer it back. Yeah, try that. Okay, update. This is where we're at. It's been welded up here too, which I didn't notice until very recently, because there it is. So it's kind of grabbing on that bit of bracket back in there as well. So it's kind of getting a bit hard to get this bit up rough without kind of cutting more out, which I don't think is really all that necessary. I reckon I'm kind of getting close to the point where I can probably weld up the holes and then do my kind of final hammer up. I have got a low spot right there, but I couldn't get the pins to stick to it right there. Even the big pin, it just kind of went bzzzt and then snapped off. And then I had to pull the slide hammer apart to get it out. But I might get a die grinder or something in there and try and clean up that big gooey bit of weld that's there, and take a bit more out of this. So when I weld that back up, I'll be welding it to the back of this like brace rather than the, you know, there's probably a plug weld there at some stage. Probably drill that out a bit further and use that as a plug weld into that brace. And yeah, there's a couple of little pinholes that I created pulling pins out, you know what I'm saying? But it is kind of pulling up, and the whole thing had a slight kind of push that way from whatever damage was done. I think the door stay, what are they called? The door doodad thing, that's sort of spring steel, that had come undone. Okay, what was I saying? Door springy thing. The door springy thing, I think, had come undone at some stage, and then kind of had just gone and bounced in there and jammed and kind of huckeried things up a bit. So that's what I think happened there. So what I'm going to do now, I probably could grind that out a little bit more, flush that out, that way I'm not trying to hammer on that, is get in here and do all that die grinding and stuff that I said I was just going to do, and then set about doing those welds that I said I was going to do. Might get a drill and drill that out first. Alrighty, so welding time. I want to start trying to stitch this thing back together, fill up that big cut that I've got in there and that little plug weld and a couple other little pinholes so I can see daylight. I think there, and obviously there and there. So I'll just quickly zap those up and then see if I can. It's not gonna. I can't get a perfect file finish in it. It's just not possible for me to do that. So I can kind of pull it out. So a light skim of poo on there. It should be alright. I think it's only the door jamb. Remember, but still, you kind of want it to look nice. You will be seen from the driver's seat, you know, like sitting here in the piloting this ship. And yeah. Anyway, I'll get on with it. Enough jibber jabber. With my helmet gone. Holy! I was grinding away with the compressor was going, I could hear this thumping and bumping, and what's going on? And it was a huge thunderstorm going on outside at the moment, so fortunately it's quiet in here. So I'll just carry on. Winter's here. Alrighty, so that's as far as I'm going to take the metalwork side of that. It's still there's a little low spot here, a little low spot there, and a little low spot there. I probably could hammer that one out. And it still has a slight, not like ruler straight, but 1951 Chev, were they ever ruler straight? Who knows? Only Chev GM engineers might be able to tell you the answer to that. I can't, because I just can't. Anyway, so just giving it a bit of a whiz over with the DA, and yeah, I should be able to kind of smooth the rest of that out with a little bit of filler and a little bit of primer and all that kind of stuff. I kind of got carried away and started going up into here just to see what's got to come up like. I've got a few other, you know, when we do the final pre-primer sand, we'll get in there with the Rolox and stuff like that and kind of take down some of these like factory, you know, these little factory boogery bits of weld. There's something going on up there too. I need to shift my light to have a proper look, but I think that's where this lap joint sort of disappears. I'll get in there and kind of maybe do some like belt snapper 2000 or belt snapper 1000 in there, and get in there with the belts and just kind of flush those down a little bit. But that's that little repair done, I think. you know. It's not perfect, but it's 100 times better than what it was, and being able to pull out the steel's been was a lot better than, you know, like trying to fill it full of bondo or bog or mud or whatever you want to call it, smooth and that sort of stuff. So yeah, so it'll have a little bit of filler go across the top of that, and yeah, basically just to fill in this little depression here and a few little, that one there and that one there and a little bit there, which is right on that ridge, and I couldn't get the pins to stick to it. So, and little bits in there, but nothing major, nothing to be concerned about is what I'm trying to say. So next, I'll grind these little nuggety bits off, go around this door jamb, give it a bit of a once over. I've got almost every tool I own out here to do that little job, so that's good. I've got some stuff to clean up. I'd hate to think that I could kind of get away with doing a just a, you know, little half-ass attempt at it, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with that as it sits. So we'll have to get over to the other side and plug up those other holes and grind up that other stuff, but might have a little bit of a kind of clean up and a bit of a reset, I reckon. Not completely, because I'm going to use a lot of this stuff, but yeah, some of this, you know, won't need all of the body dollies and slide hammers and shit like that. Like I've got both the slide hammers out, drills, grinders, DAs, wire wheels, the whole 9 yards, you know, like everything. Not bad for my first attempt at pin pulling. Now, most of these are ones that actually just I could not get them to stick. I tried you know, like holding the button for longer, trying to burn it in longer, shorter, didn't seem to make a difference. There was a few spots in particular on that door jamb that looks good from a distance, doesn't it? It's not bad for amateur hour on a Monday. It's a public holiday, but yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, there's a few spots in particular that just would not stick, and it seemed to be the spots where there was a factory spot weld onto the little bracket in the back, but not always the case. So once I'd tried it a few times there, it was not going to happen at all. So with the old what do you call those things? Stud guns. They're called the stud guns for pin pulling and that, you know. Yeah, so that worked. It does look quite not bad from a distance, you reckon? Yeah, not bad, bro. Anyway, carry on cleaning up, and then we're gonna do the stuff on the other side. I went around and I ground off that thing up there that was like just dying to get me in the forehead, and a little bit of a clean up on a couple of little bits here, but that's where I'll leave the door jambs until we get into the full sand. I bought some sanding pads, you know, like Velcro like pads for that DA that I got given. I bought the wrong size, so they work on my cheapo electric DA. They fit on that. They're 5-inch. I needed to get 6-inch, so always the shortcomings, you know. But anyway, I'll get some pads for that DAs. I could just use my other one, but that one that my mate gave me, it's kind of a better kind of hand holding position anyway. So alright, carry on. I'll meet you over there. Okay, so there's not a lot. Oh god, that's got a big dent in it too. Not a lot that I want to do over here. This will probably take me way longer than I was thinking, but I'll get in here, knock this down. Got to plug up that hole. This is lead around here, so I have to try and clean off some of that lead so I can weld up those holes, and then yeah, hopefully be able to kind of hammer this bit up. I don't think I'll try pin pulling or, you know, stud gunning it and pulling it from here, because there's this another big brace spot welded up behind there, so that'll be making it super strong. That'll be why this bit pulled out, so I can probably just hammer that bit back and flush it out. There's definitely a bow in that, so that's what that's supposed to look like. There's a little bit of a dip there on the good side too, so I reckon I did alright on the other side. Reckon? I reckon. Right, grinders. Okay, so new toy, I gotta try it. So I don't know how well that kind of grabbed in there, but we'll give it a shot. That actually did kind of pull it back a little bit. Saw it happen, man. Why would that work? What's going on? Alrighty, that's where we're up to with that little pucker that was in there. There's still a little bit of a ding in there, which I'll leave it at that, but I just got to weld up that, and that, and then that's that. So, get out to that. Alrighty, so that's as far as we've taken that, and just kind of run the DA on here just to see what it would do, and just cleaned up a couple of bits there, had a couple of little pinholes in that cut there, and just kind of like went through, did a couple of little things, just experimenting really with that, see what it was going to do. But my main objective was to clean up these jagged little, oh, I missed one, I've got to get that, is that a little weldy weld thing? What is that? I don't know. I'll get that. And yeah, fix up that other jam and that jam. I don't know what that little hole there is though. Might need to weld that. I have to have a look. Okay, so now I'm finished. I just had to plug up that. There was a little extra hole there. I think it might have been left over from, I had to put a little pie cut in the bottom of these pillars when we did the roof chop back in the day, you know, in the olden days. That's those inner jams pretty much ready to get into the sanding and get them ready for epoxy. Yeah. So for now, that's about it for this video. Pretty kind of shit video, but you know, got to play with my new like stud gun pin puller thing, you know. And that seemed to work as long as I get, the idea is really cool, but I just had a bit of trouble getting the studs to stick most of the time. we've got a couple of other little dings and dents and stuff on here that we'll be using that on as well in the future. Be a learning curve for me. I've never had one before, so been, you know, gotta try these things. So that's where I'm going to leave this video. If you haven't subscribed, and this probably is not going to be the video that turns you on to subscribing, but you know, there's a little bit of useful or semi-useful or kind of useless information in this one. So a little bit of, you know, trying to straighten things out and really difficult to get at areas. You can't get in behind it, so I had to just do what I could do with what I've got, and fortunately got that new tool. Where are we? Yeah, so that's it for this video. If you haven't subscribed, just get on there and subscribe. That'd be awesome. And yeah, thanks as always. Thanks again. Thanks as always. As always, thanks for watching. Till next time, take it easy and dirty hand. Peace.